The release of a host of new documents has cast fresh light on the inquiry into the Health Services Union. Fair Work Australia has been investigating the case surrounding Labor MP Craig Thomson for 3 years. Tonight, 7:30 can reveal the complicated and costly legal fees being paid for the probe. And the new information suggests the investigation may have been nearing completion more than a year ago. Hayden Cooper reports.
For 3 years now, the players in this murky episode have been waiting for a resolution. But Fair Work Australia operates at its own pace, despite growing pressure from outside.
The Fair Work Australia investigation into the member for Dobell is now in its 4th year. It's taking longer than the Watergate inquiry into President Nixon, longer than the Korean War took to start and finish, longer than it took to build Sydney's Olympic Stadium, longer than the Rudd government's duration, even longer, Mr Speaker, than it took Pat Farmer to run from the North to the South Pole.
You twist and you turn and you scratch and you claw to try and see if you can find another little bit of mud to throw. Well, I'll tell you this about Fair Work Australia. It is independent. It is unbiased.
These documents provide a glimpse behind the scenes of the workplace investigator. Hundreds of pages of invoices, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal costs, released through freedom of information.
A legal bill, external legal bill to Fair Work Australia of about $750,000, $750,000 in round terms. Now, this has just been a lawyer's picnic.
The invoices from the Australian Government solicitor cover the work done by their lawyers since the inquiry began. They reveal that as far back as December 2010, lawyers were reviewing a draft letter setting out proposed findings. So why has another year passed with no result? Given it's only one seat from government, the opposition is desperate to know.
The fact that proposed findings had already been determined at the end of 2010, but the actual findings to which people needed to respond to were sent out over 12 months later, would suggest to anybody that there was either administrative incompetence or institutional go slow.
Yeah, the investigation has been lengthy and protracted. To go on for about 3 years is a very long time. It is certainly thorough.
John Lloyd was the Senior Deputy President of the Industrial Relations Commission, the body Fair Work Australia replaced. He sees a better way to conduct such inquiries, by using Australia's corporate watchdog.
ASIC could be a body which could look after these types of affairs. ASIC, it's a common part of their operations that they investigate financial transactions, that they investigate complex financial transactions. Therefore, I think that there's an argument that ASIC would be a better body to investigate such a thing than Fair Work Australia.
Critics of the lengthy investigation have long been suspicious of the union backgrounds of the former and current general managers of Fair Work Australia. So much so that both have already faced many questions about their involvement. Today's documents will only add to the clamour.
The indicators are to improve or maintain, so...
During his tenure in charge, Tim Lee delegated responsibility for the inquiry to a senior staff member.
That still lies with Mr Nassios.
But the documents obtained by 7:30 reveal that Mr Lee himself has attended at least half a dozen meetings with lawyers. One went for more than 6 hours.
I don't know why Mr Lee would have wanted to have such a strong oversight of the case when he had delegated the matter to Mr Nassios, and that is why we as a coalition wanted Mr Lee to come to Senate estimates next week to explain his actions, but Labor and the Greens combined to block that to ensure that the coalition, the Parliament and most importantly the people of Australia aren't told why Mr Lee took such a keen interest in these matters.
Fair Work Australia is yet to respond to 7:30's inquiries. leaving everyone guessing about how and when this will end.
There's three options when the inquiry is completed. Fair Work Australia can issue an order to the union involved. Secondly, they can commence proceedings in the federal court for civil penalties. Thirdly, if there's criminal offences, then the matter is referred to the DPP. If that third course is adopted, it is possible we won't see it, or we won't see it for a long time.
Hayden Cooper reporting.